what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today I want to discuss the what's next for former world title challenger Chris Eubank Jr. Eubank returned on October 16th when he took on some unknown fighter, dominated him, forced the guy to not come out of his corner after 5 rounds, and Eubank gets back to his winning ways after not fighting since I think it was last year, if I'm correct on Eubank. But the big question now is what's next for Chris Eubank Jr. Well, there's been rumors ever since that fight that Eubank's promoter is trying to set up a showdown with Liam Williams, who just fought Demetrius Andrade for the title earlier this year and lost a unanimous decision. Well, that fight looks like it could happen before the end of the year, which would be big. You know, that's a kind of fight that Eubank needs. And then his promoter, and this is just hours ago as I'm doing this, his promoter also said that he started talks for a possible showdown with Triple G next May, which would be the biggest fight of Eubank's career if he could land that fight. Now, that's granted Eubank wins if he fights Liam Williams and Triple G beats Ryota Murata in a title unification bout that's taking place at the end of December for Triple G. So that's big right there. So those are the rumors that I've heard thus far. Let's run through the top 10 and see what's possible next for Chris Eubank if he doesn't get the Liam Williams fight, you know, or possibly after that. So we start with the number 1 fighter at middleweight right now, and that is the reigning IBF champion, Triple G Gennady Golovkin. Triple G, as I said, next. It wouldn't happen next because Triple G, it could happen next for Eubank if he doesn't fight, period. But Triple G, it looks to be attempting to unify belts with Ryota Murata next, and then Chris Eubank could be after that. Now, I'm skeptical on if this fight can happen after that because the WBA has been trying to reduce all their belts. And Lara was the regular champion at 154 and 160. Now, he surprised me when he decided to not go forward with being the regular champion at 154 and decided on 160 pounds instead. That means he gets the next shot at the super title, which is held by Murata. And if Triple G beats Murata, then Lara is likely next. You know, so I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if a Eubank fight happened with Triple G next year, you know, in May, but I'm leaning towards it's probably not going to happen, but we'll see. You know, we'll see what goes down. Maybe exceptions can be made. I don't know. Number 2 is the undefeated WBC champion, Jamal Charlo. I highly doubt this one. Charlo, to me, has become the guy that just picks and chooses his opponents. He took on Sergey Derevyanchenko. I gained a lot of respect for him. And Chris Eubank was supposed to be next, and he just totally ignored that, never brought it up, and the fight has not been discussed. So I highly doubt Jamal Charlo is next or even on the radar for Chris Eubank because he's ducked so many times. So I highly doubt it. Number 3 is the number 3 at middleweight for me is the 1 second, hold on. Sorry about that. Number 3 for me at middleweight is Demetrius Andrade, the undefeated WBO champion. And this is a fight I don't think Eubank wants anything to do with. It's a bad matchup for him. It's an easily makeable fight, but it's a bad matchup for him. I don't think he wants to go in there against a skilled boxer like Andrade. Not next anyway, so I don't see this one happening next. Maybe the first half of next year. If he gets frustrated enough, hey, Demetrius Andrade's always down to fight. So, why not? But I think it could possibly happen if Eubank goes out there, and especially if he knocks out Liam Williams and gains a lot of confidence, you know, and Andrade beats Jason Quigley. Andrade's been fighting a lot of guys from the United Kingdom because that's his promoter, Eddie Hearn, can provide those guys. Well, what about Chris Eubank? I think the fight makes sense. I think it's possible, but Eubank's got to want the fight. Maybe he will if he can go in there and knock out Liam Williams. We'll see. Number 4, Lara. Again, we don't know what is next for the winner of Triple G and Ryota Murata when they unify belts. I don't think the IBF is going to enforce a mandatory defense. They could, but I do believe the WBA is going to force the winner of that fight to fight Erislandy Lara. And considering Lara's a sizable name, I don't think either guy would be opposed to that. So I really think I don't think Lara is a possibility for Chris Eubank next anyways. Even though Eubank's the #1 contender in the WBA, maybe the WBA orders Eubank and Lara, but I'm not sure Eubank wants that fight. Number 5, Jaime Minguia. I would love to see these two guys chuck. I really would. How likely that is to happen, I don't know. Minguia's fighting Gabriel Rosado. If he beats him, would he want to fight a guy like Eubank? I think Eubank, it wants a world title. He wants one of the big names, but Minguia's on the rise. Why not get together? I think it'd be an explosive fight, but again, both sides are gonna want to they're gonna want the fight. Have to want it, and I haven't heard either side talking about it. So that's just what I feel on that one. Number 6, Sergey Derevyanchenko. Would love to see Derevyanchenko and Eubank square off. Again, if Eubank cannot find a huge name in the first half of the year, 2022, I think he'd be down for a Derevyanchenko fight. But again, I just don't know how likely that is, to happen. So we just got to wait and see. And then number 7 is Ryota Murata, the WBA Super Champion. Murata, as I said, he's fighting Triple G next to unify belts. And, I really believe if he pulls off the upset over Triple G and doesn't have a rematch, then he's going to have to, face, what's his name next, Erislandy Lara, unless the WBA orders Lara and Eubank to fight each other for the regular belt, and then a winner gets the fight for the super belt next year. But as of right now, I'm going to say no, I don't see this one taking place either, or being possible. Number 9 is Kazakh style. Zanibak Alamanakuni. Anyways, I call him Kazakh style. He just upset Rob Brandt. I think he'd be down for this fight, but Eubank, again, I don't think he wants a guy like this. So I'm going to say no. And then number 10 is Luis Arias, coming off his upset decision victory over Jarrett Hurd. I got him number 10 right now. Anything's possible, but I don't see it, but anything's possible. So for Chris Eubank, we don't know what he's going to do next exactly, and what he's going to do after that. Eubank talks a lot of shit. He always calls out the big names, but he only seems to want those fights handed to him without having to earn those fights. And I don't get it. He beat James DeGale. That was impressive. A nice win back in February 2019. But he hasn't done shit since to earn a shot at Triple G or any of the big dogs. If he fights Liam Williams next, that's a good step towards that, because Liam Williams is floating around the top 10 type middleweight right there. So a nice win, especially if he were to knock him out after Andre struggled with Williams a little bit. Andre clearly won a decision, but he struggled with Williams a little bit. If Eubank could come in there and knock Williams out, that changes the game for him right there. So that's a possibility. And then there's also talks of a showdown, a rematch with former 2-division champ Billy Joe Saunders. Saunders has not said no. They've talked back and forth. They've argued over who the hell the A side would be in that fight, and I'm sorry, that would be Billy Joe. But I wouldn't completely rule that fight out from happening either. But we just don't know with Chris Eubank. That's what's sad. And I think he's wasting his prime away by being so picky and choosy, only wanting the big time fights. Why not fight some of these other guys and earn that fight? I think that makes more sense. But Chris Eubank, that's just his style. We'll see what he decides to do. But that's the what's next on former world title challenger Chris Eubank Jr. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.